If you were to come in and see me and you told me your relationship was really floundering and you weren't married yet, but even if you were married, you wanted to restore it, you want to make it as good as you can, I would go through what I call the 7 hacks of restoring a relationship. I'm going to share those with you right now. What's important when you watch this video is not only that you write it down or remember it or replay it and replay it for yourself and your partner, because there's a couple things you have to practice in here, but also that when you go to therapy, and that's going to be one of the things I suggest at the very end, that you actually take a list of what you tried so your therapist will know and the experience you got from it. So the first thing is, I want you to try and look at each other for 60 seconds with no words. Why do I suggest this? I'm going to tell you that when you're fighting or there's conflict or you're calling each other insults, which happens in relationships that are failing, you get so angry that you stop looking at the person. We know now, according to research, if you will hold hands, shut off all gadgets, and just look at each other's eyes for 60 seconds without judgment, it will break something down. It breaks down the conflict or something even deeper within you, and it begins restoring that connection. If you don't believe me, just try it. Now, how often should you do this? I would say if you can start it 1 time a day, and couples do it and they think it's kind of hokey, they start laughing, that's okay. It's important though that you take this first one very seriously because it is an actual assignment. It's validated, researched, and it does work. Secondly, it's important that you practice practical honesty. What I've seen happen a lot is when people say they're doing radical honesty or whatever kind of honesty, they tell their partner everything they've done in the past. Like they talk to them about old lovers they had. They'll even give them the details about, right after it was when you and I were still dating and I went out with this other person and she or he was crazy in bed. When you tell your partner those kinds of things, it makes them suspicious, it makes them less trusting of you, and it makes them feel withdrawn from you because you weren't talking about this type of thing when you were first together. So what I say is use practical honesty. Practical honesty is when you are honest about your past, but rather than going into gory details that you don't need to share, you tell your partner, I made some big mistakes. I did some things I feel a lot of regret for, but I've learned my lesson and I am never going to bring that to you or in this relationship, because people do change. And when you change, when you grow up, that past should stay in the past. It should not be brought back in full detail to someone who doesn't understand you, who only understands what they know of you now. This kind of honesty actually is a sabotaging kind of honesty for your relationship. Thirdly, talk to each other at least 20 minutes a day without distractions. The phones are a big culprit in making conflict and ruining the intimacy of relationships. Shut those phones off, and for 20 minutes, the two of you should talk face to face, eyes to eyes, on the sofa, anything without any distractions. What do you talk about? Just talk about ways you thought about each other during the day, things you appreciate about each other, and talk about what you see as the vision going forward, why you think you're doing better. If your partner has done something that shows effort, that they want to work out this relationship, tell them this is the perfect time. 20 minutes a day is not too much to spend with the person you love, who you plan to spend your life with. Next, validate your partner's perspective. When your partner tells you what's going on with them and why they feel the way they do. You don't have to agree with it, but you have to validate it. Communication problems in this area are one of the top reasons couples have conflict and problems. So rather than, but, I thought this, but, or and, just listen to them. Let them say something and then look at it from their point of view. You're going to feel better, and you're going to be a better partner with communication and understanding. Don't be afraid to do your own thing now and then. Now, you don't have to do it all the time, but what I want you to understand is when you do everything together, you can kill a relationship with enmeshment. A lot of couples have attachment disorders, and what ends up happening is if one partner is anxious and they're clinging, and the other partner is avoidant and they're trying to move away, the relationship is going to fail. So rather than doing that, give each other a little space. Go back to what made you an interesting, viable person. You're going to love yourself more, and that's going to make you a better partner too, because your partner's going to have something to find interesting about you. You're going to bring new news, new ideas to the relationship. That's what the relationship thrives on. And lastly, open up to your mistakes. When you make a mistake, tell your partner, I'm really sorry, I messed up. I don't know, I don't know what I was thinking. I hurt you and I'm so sorry. When you show responsibility for accepting your part of the relationship, you tell your partner, I am here for you. I know, I understand where I messed up and what I did wrong. And this is how I'm going to fix it. Have a plan for your mistake so you won't repeat it. And then lastly, truly lastly, is what I told you in the beginning. Seek therapy together. If both of you want it to work and you try these hacks for two weeks to a month and you're seeing some progress, but you know you can do better, that's the time to go see a therapist, because it shows the therapist, hey, we love what we have created and we want it to work, but we need a little help. We need a little guidance. Your therapist is going to get on board and give you that extra support the two of you need.